Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and motorheads who are watching. Welcome to Tier-2 Canada Round 9. Uh, as we have as we have co-commenting in on Acid, who's joining me in Moto. So Acid, what are your predictions for this round? Like having raced here yourself yesterday only, what do you expect from today's race?
Hello everyone, it's nice to be here streaming the Tier 2 race today and expectations. This is a track I extremely enjoy driving, and I feel the same that a lot of other drivers do about this track. Racing is a bit of trouble since there's a little bit of narrow corners, but otherwise I think it's a great track to race at. Yesterday we had a really good race in Tier 1, and unfortunately I had to retire because of hardware issues, but the race was exciting. I had a lot of overtakes. So I think Tier 2 should be a good race to watch. There should be a lot of overtakes down the main straight, and we'll have to see what happens. And if we're lucky, who knows, we might even get some rain today.
Yes, absolutely. Tier 2 is very well known for how common the rain has been throughout the season. We evidently last race we had a dry to wet in China, which was an absolute banger of a race. And Canada is one of the highest speed circuits on the calendar. It's 60% flat out, like on throttle, and it has a combination of low speed and medium speed corners. So dirty air will be an issue here, but it is backed up by the long straights to provide for overtaking opportunities. So yes, we will see some really exciting racing today, and I can personally not wait as we will head on now to the hot lap provided by Maranello.
Fastest tracks on the F1 calendar as we go around the circuit to Gilles Villeneuve with Maranello Baby. Approaching turn 1, every driver has a different braking zone through here, taking the curb on the entry, not so much through turn 2. This is where you can lose 4 tenths almost if you go too wide or lose a position 2 maybe. Now through 3 and 4, this is the infamous Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton zone. Now you've got to take both the curbs so that you can stick through 5, brake really hard through 6 and 7, taking as much curb through 6 but not so much through 7, because then that will make your car slip out and hit the wall on the left over here. Fast zone over here, which then lines up and overtake through 8 and 9. Now if you're a driver who does not want to overtake through 8 and 9, that means you're lining up the overtake into the hairpin. 8 and 9 almost flat out. Now, through the hairpin, you've got to make sure that you don't go too wide. Maranello locking up hard as he brakes hard. Gets a good exit out of the hairpin. Now, if you're a driver, you will either try to get an overtake done into the hairpin or out of the hairpin through the wall of champions. This is where you will set up your car for the next lap, your brake biases, your fuel setups, see how the gap is built up. Through the wall of champions, eating the curves, it's almost like Monaco's piscine section, as Maranello shows us how to set up blistering fast hot lap across the Canadian Grand Prix.
All right, that was a very rapid lap from Maranello Baby, as we have the players readying up in the lobby right now.
Definitely. And talking about strategies, we do have a
Yes.
50% race and with a short qualifying. And how important do you think qualifying will be going into the race? And how do you think strategies are going to impact it as well?
Absolutely. Strategy over here is very tricky to get right because you have a wide variety of options. You have the soft medium, which eccentric very exuberantly displayed yesterday. And as he massaged the tires, the medium tires for at least 20 laps or so. You also have the soft medium, which is also rapid, and you also have the soft hards, which is one of the worst strategies on this track because the hards over here are notorious for, like, they're really hard to get up to temperature. So you would want to avoid them technically, but if you're not confident in your racecraft, and I'm pretty sure all of these drivers will be very confident, but if you're not, you might want to do the soft hard, get the undercut on everyone, and just do your own race from there.
And let's
So
quickly switch
it's
to the game as quali has started. And this is
absolutely
extremely interesting, as you'll be able to see right about now. Surprise, surprise.
And ladies and gentlemen, please strap yourselves in. We have a full wet qualifying over here. The race is dry, but the qualifying is full wet. What are your predictions, Acid? You have seen the grid before, you've competed before. Who do you think is gonna be one to watch out for today?
So the one thing I have noticed about Tier 2 is that it's quite similar in pace, and with wet qualifying thrown into the mix, oh, it's going to jumble a lot of things up and down the order. So it's actually going to be really interesting because we have a lot of drivers who are extremely talented and some even more in the wet. So
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be an interesting one to watch as we
Yes.
get
The
a
wet the wet does act as the deciding factor between what separates a driver of really impeccable skill from a driver of equally as good skill as well, because the wet really brings out one's precision in braking, in accelerating, in throttle control, in racing line. It's just there's so much to it, you know. The wet weather is an absolute deciding factor when it comes to a Grand Prix weekend.
absolutely. As we go onward with Washington Nirmaz, he's the first car out on track, just exploring the conditions, sliding around a bit, and trying to figure out how the track is and how how they should attack it the best way.
Absolutely. It's looking proving really tricky out here because they're obviously in the wet. What you tend to normally do is, as opposed to the dry. In dry, you set out with the lowest amount of fuel. You go out for a banker, and you look back on the data. You reminisce on where you like messed up. Whereas in the wet, what you do is you put an extra amount of fuel and you do back-to-back laps, trying to slowly get in tune with the car, get up to speed, know where the grip is, know where the limit of the car is, and it really goes to show how consistent a driver can be, and his knowledge of the grip as well. How if he can dictate or decipher where the grip lies and where the limit of the car is. It's very hard to do. And as we see Nirma on his first flying lap into turn one.
Goes a tad bit wide as you see the car of Beacon 19 coming out of the pits. Hope he stays out of the way. Manages to find good enough traction and heads down back to turn 3 as we have a yellow flag, and I wonder what that is for. Let's see, looks like either a
Like in
Ferrari or
a
Alfa
Alfa
then.
Romeo on the pit straight, as we have a bunch of invalidated laps. On
I
board
do
with
believe
Manish Banga right now.
right. Okay, don't know what that was as we go back onward with Nirman, see how he's doing on his lap. As he is currently the lead car and would be the first one to finish his lap.
On to turn 9. 10, really conservative on throttle there, which is understandable. It's his first lap. He needs to
And one
get
thing
in touch with the car. Yes.
And one thing that a lot of people don't know about is track evolution, especially of that on a wet track. It's extremely important. It could gain you on a wet track maybe close to even a second and a half or two. As the track evolves,
Absolutely.
the spray reduces, the track gets a little bit that tad bit drier. It makes a lot of difference.
Yes, and there's going to be the competition, the battle of finding as we have a visual bug there, the battle of finding the perfect window where the rain is just not too heavy and not too light, where the tires grip up just beautifully, and you get to do your lap without any setup issues. And speaking of setup, Acid, what do you reckon? Like, do you think they're all running a wet setup, or do you think they've all absolutely gone for a dry setup to be really quick in the race where it
So
matters the most?
what I would do in this case is I would set somewhere of a hybrid setup where I could change the front wing to maybe something higher than it would be, and then tone that down as we start the race. As we have cryptid with a 123.171 with a fairly quick lap compared to Crazy Joe, and is our current pole sitter for
Yes.
now.
Crazy Joe is on a controller. He is one of the fastest. Sorry, he is on a keyboard. He's one of the fastest in that input device. And he's not that far off, you know, given the extreme difference between the two input devices and the amount of control you
Absolutely,
have
yeah,
over
absolutely. He's extremely quick guy on keyboard, and often I find myself racing with him as well. and I feel that we're gonna see a good battle between him and a lot of the others on the grid, as he can definitely match up the pace with everyone else on this grid, and I know that for sure.
As we have some more laps coming in from Harry, from Sid, a 27.5 from Harry. A bit way off the pace, but he is going to surely he's going to find his footing. Harry is one to slowly make his way up the field in races and slowly find his pace in qualifying from what I've seen before. So I'm pretty sure he'll be up there as well.
Absolutely. And we're gonna have multiple laps come in, because the best strategy, as Moto said, is to absolutely put in extra fuel, go for those consecutive runs. ER's deployment is usually not an issue in the wets. You have that energy stored, and you go on continuous laps as the track improves and start improving on your times. So I feel that a lot of drivers will be going for this strategy and will be putting in some continuous laps.
It's a real testimony to the driver's consistency and focus as he evolves actually over the qualifying session, finding where the grip is and where the limit of the car is. As we have some more quick laps coming in from BK, who puts his AlphaTauri in P2 with a 24.3, which is, and you can see his steering on controller, which is extremely jarring, but he has managed to put his car on P2 there.
Definitely. It is a really good lap from him.
Yes.
As we see about almost half the grid putting in laps and the others struggling to get in, and we have some diving into the pits like now.
Can you go on to the number of laps, please? Like, it would show really good.
Definitely, let's do that.
So as we see, Cryptid has put in 2 laps, and Freeze goes fastest on his first lap, which is very impressive, as he seems to get up to touch with his car much quicker than the others.
Absolutely, and we have some people in the pit still on inters. I don't know if that's maybe if they haven't gone out yet, that's why it's showing it.
Yes, the telemetry did show that the rain would ease off towards the end of qualifying, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely, and I think rain is getting a bit lighter, and who knows, maybe by the end of the session we might even see some blistering quick laps somewhere maybe near to the drive.
Yes, I think that's what everyone is planning to do, as we see another Ferrari of Monish Bangor heading into the pits. And RB Ferrello has put in a lap which is 1.1 seconds off the lead pace. Right? I'm pretty sure that's not represented.
Freeze has gone for a 1:23.1 and puts himself on provisional pole. That is a really quick line. As washing powder Nirma crosses the line with a 1:22.9.
I think this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this qualifying session, where we will see drivers pip each other almost every single lap, as we see a spin out racing point of, I think, Faizan that was.
Definitely. There was a racing point of Faizan. Maybe just lost a bit of traction and.
Faizan, who was also one of the few drivers who switched input devices from the pad to the wheel, who's still finding his footing around as he's struggling to get up to grips with it. As Freeze, who pips Washing Powder Nirma again for P1.
Well, this could be interesting. As I said, all these drivers I would say are almost as equally quick, and with wet qualifying, it's going to be really interesting to watch who puts it on pole.
The 2 Alpha Tauris, the Alfa Romeos, interestingly, have gone for the intermediate tires already. I think it's a bit too early, but only the times will tell us.
I believe they are still in the pits, so maybe they're just trying to wait out the timer, wait for the last 2 minutes where they can put in their best lap and then go for the one shot at it.
Yes. With the inters, you have a bit of an external factor when it comes to setting consecutive laps, because the tire wear on the inters is quite harsh if you're doing multiple laps, especially in qualifying, when you're absolutely murdering the throttle and murdering the rear tires, asking for every single, like, all the grip they can offer. So I'm guessing that that's the strategy. They only want to do like 2 laps consecutively.
You go on board Deepak Raj, and we'll see as he dives into the pits. Doesn't seem to have gone a bit faster. I believe almost everyone is in the pits right now, changing the tires. But we'll have to see who is the first one to blink and go on to the inters, because that's going to be an interesting strategy call that might just get someone pole.
Interestingly, Rambo has gone P2 with only 4 tenths off the lead car, and on his first lap as well.
That's brilliant lap from him then in that case.
Yes. Though I think it's the rain easing off playing a part in that, but brilliant lap nevertheless.
You see two cars very close to each other. That's not going to be good for the other cars qualifying. Let's see
I'm
if we
seeing a
can.
lot of invalidations, and from my guess, I'm pretty sure that's all happening at the last chicane where the Wall of Champions is, which
Absolutely.
is ruthless, absolutely ruthless. It punishes you for exceeding the track by a millimeter. So I think that's going to be a recurring theme throughout the race as well.
Absolutely, and it's even challenging in the dry, so I can't imagine how it must be in the wet and trying to
Yes,
get that traction
it's
right
even
and to
more
get the turning
challenging in the
right.
drive because you have the grip which you can use to push the car to the limit. But in the wet, you're still more conservative as you don't want to get too throttle happy and spin the rears out and
Absolutely.
ruin your momentum. Yes.
If you can just give me a minute, I will quickly rejoin the lobby and hoping that a visual bug does disappear.
It doesn't seem too much of a bother, so I mean, yes, you can
We
definitely.
just don't want it coming through on throughout the race, so I think it'll be a
Yes,
bit
so
a bit
that will
better.
be a bother.
Yes, so we can just move back to this. We can move back to the still for now, and I'll quickly do rejoin. And we apologize for this. This game sometimes just throws up new things at you every week. As I believe we do have somewhere about 5 minutes remaining, and now is the time that we will be seeing a lot of fast laps coming in, maybe even faster than the ones we had seen before. As we dive back into the session,
Yeah. As I noticed the weather forecast, the last cloud, as you can see, has no rain. So could you see some drivers waiting for the dry period and risking it on the last lap? That's it.
it's quite interesting actually. In many cases, sometimes in short qualifying, when it is raining on the inters, and when it is raining on the inters and you're on the inters, I apologize. So the track does dry up and it is really, really close to the dry. As you see Deepak are just spinning and hitting the wall, and
Yes,
Rambo just misses him by a hair and
absolutely. Was
stays out of
Deepak
it.
on a set of wets? I think he was because
Yes,
on the inters that corner.
I believe he was on the wets, and we do have yellow flags for that incident. As we see another, I want to say it's a Ferrari.
As you see a quick look at the constructor standings, Red Bull absolutely dominating the field, cut above the rest, if you will. And as displayed again, both the Red Bulls, both of them, the top five. Like absolutely amazing consistency from both of them, especially from our group, who I was teammates with in last season. And he's known
Definitely,
to
so you
have a
can
really
attest to that. And as I was saying earlier, sometimes in short qualifying we do see people when the first run is on the inters, and by the end of the session the rain goes away. We do see the track dry up, and maybe the last lap, it always does have the sufficient amount of grip for the soft tires even, or the dry tires
yes.
to say. But
As I'm sorry for interrupting you there, as we see Faizan, who's pipped pole position from Freeze with a 121.3,
wow.
almost a second quicker. That just goes to show the grip level between the full wet conditions and the inters condition.
Definitely, and as he slightly
As
taps
we
the horn,
say, yes, as
that's
we
right, as
Faizan.
he is currently our pole setter, and we do see the track drying up quite a lot. People are starting to struggle, as are seeing a couple of yellow flags every now and then. People are starting to struggle in the wets, and with 2 minutes remaining, it's going to be a really close call for anyone who wants to go out from the inters.
As Freeze maneuvers through the last chicane, very very nicely. Nice line through there. He's set 2 purple sectors in sector 1 and 2, and his last sector a bit short,
Definitely. I think he will want another run at that
as washing powder Nirma absolutely
wow, washing
sends
powder
one.
on the inters with a 120.998, and as we're speaking, Rambo with a 120.353. This is all gonna get really, really spicy right now. It is the final few moments of qualifying. Everyone is trying to get who is on the inters is trying to get a lap in, and we're gonna
Yes, the
see some
track is
quicker
going to
times.
be absolutely congested in a few seconds or so as we see a few more cars leaving the pits.
As you go on board with Freeze, as he's enters sector 3 on the inters, and I feel we may even see a quicker time from him. He is a quick driver, and we'll have to see what he pulls off right here in qualifying.
Down to turn 10, second gear, as he absolutely caresses the throttle pedal, not wanting to spin out the rears. Makes his way down the straight. No DRS obviously in the wet conditions as it's risky. Heading on down to the final chicane, spot your braking at the 100 in the wet. Bit conservative through there, but it's better late. It's better to be safe there.
As he
Sorry.
does put it on pole, goes faster by almost 3/10 of a second. Freeze is our current pole sitter with 47 seconds in qualifying remaining. We're gonna have to see who else can get a lap in, as this does seem to be set in stone. Sorry, this does not seem to be set in stone as of now.
As Freeze is invalidated, I don't know if he was doing another push lap, but if he was, it's been eradicated from the timing sheets as he's cut the corners.
Definitely, and we see I think Rambo is currently in the pits, and that's his qualifying done and dusted.
As you
And
see, RB Ferrello, who's not gone out for another lap,
uh, so
as
he is on a lap
he's
on the Iters, and we're
on
gonna
the
have
sheets
to
there.
see what he can pull out, as he is one of the quickest drivers in this division.
Purple through sector 1 and 2. This is looking like an absolute flyer into the 1 minute 19s, I'm guessing.
We're gonna have to see as we see the timer ticks down and hits zero. Qualifying
Yellow
time
flags in sector 1
is
as he makes
officially
his way
over.
through the last chicane. Extremely conservative, but
We're seeing yellow flags all over, and
is this going to be pole position?
it is.
Absolutely.
Moto
Damn,
right
19.
on the point with the one when with this prediction, and RB Ferrello is on pole as of now with a 119.921, and I do believe he might just keep his position, but we're gonna have to watch out for who else
It's
is on the
closer
map.
than I thought, if I'm honest, between Freeze and RB. And Freeze, out of nowhere, has put in that brilliant performance. Props to him. Like, that is extremely good.
You see, a lot of people have their laps invalidated, and Scripted and Faizan get the checker flag. As we see yellow flags in sector 3, and it might be the car, and it is the car, the Mercedes of washing powder Nirma, as he just loses it, taps the wall, and gets some serious wing damage, and does a nice little pirouette to get out of the way.
We have BK, Sid, and Deepak Raj who were unfortunately unable to set a lap on the inters, and I reckon all three of them had a chance of the top 5 if they had, because they're all really good drivers as we've seen before.
And what's interesting is Chicken down in P13 with a 122.3.
I
Uh,
think he's on a lap now.
I do believe he is on a lap now, so we're gonna
As
have
we
to
see
see.
Freeze, who's pipped RB Ferrello by 5/10 of a second. An absolutely blistering lap from the Renault driver.
Definitely, wow. This is all
That
getting
is
close.
absolutely out of nowhere. Freeze has come in and put in a lap, which is absolutely put him a cut above the rest on the field.
Right.
In
As
these
you see
changeable
Chicken
conditions.
head down on the final straight just before the chicken, and we're gonna have to see what he pulls off. Goes that much bit harder on the throttle, and let's see what time he does put in. And he gets the checkered flag. That's interesting.
Yes, I'm guessing that was an AI lap, not him actually doing a lap, so it glitched
Uh,
out.
Could be as we are done with qualifying and we'll run you down the grid for the dry race that we have here at Canada. What an interesting qualifying with the wet weather always spicing it
Absolutely.
up and Freeze and RB Ferrello battling it out throughout with
An
quicker
absolute
times.
masterclass in Freeze and his Renault car, absolutely dusting away the competitors in 4 tenths ahead of RB Ferrello, followed by Evil Dog, followed by Monish Banger and Washing Powder Nirma in P5, then the Red Bull of Rambo, Death Hunter of the Ferrari of the Death Hunter, sorry, and Monk and Harry and Crazy Joe rounds up your top 10 for today's race.
Right. And what's interesting now is since we had a wet qualifying, there is a free tire choice, which actually spices up the race even more for the strategies.
Absolutely. A medium to soft or medium soft is medium soft sorry is absolutely probable now because of the free tire choice as you have said,
Def-
and it definitely does spice thing up because the hards will definitely be avoided because they're extremely hard to get up to temperature, but yes, I do believe the strategy has a huge part to play now in the upcoming race.
Definitely. And I hope and pray that we get uh, a good start to the lobby. As we've seen, Tier 1 yesterday had a couple of restarts, and we apologize for that. But this game sometimes is just very frustrating, and that's something we hope is fixed with the new game coming out very soon.
Just one of the numerous bugs in Codemaster's Pandora box.
I swear, half the times I spend on streams are talking shit about Codemaster games.
Absolutely. A common theme you've seen throughout most of the
Definitely, and
season.
this game, what's interesting is seems to have gotten worse since release, which is the first time I've actually seen for a title like this, where the multiplayer experience at the start of the game was not too bad, and towards the end of the life now it has reached quite a critical point, and it is frustrating at times. As I believe we may have encountered another bug where we're just stuck on the loading screen. We're gonna have to wait it out and see what happens.
No, I'm pretty sure that is the 1 minute ready up rule they have because
Oh,
to get
definitely, you're right about
our
that.
Steam boys in order.
Yeah, you're right about that. I apologize
And
for that. We have people deciding the
so
strategies.
actually let's have some insight here. Like what do you think? The start is going to be extremely important for Freeze if he wants to keep P1 into the sector, into the first sector, because into turn one, it because it's a chicane which is extremely the second chicane, the second corner of the chicane is extremely tight. You can have some bullying around going around over there. So what do you think is RB's plan on the start right now? Do you think he's going to play it safe and pip him on the back straight, or do you
Um,
think he's going to go for it into turn one?
so as I feel if I was RB, I would probably choose to stick behind, but maybe not as much as to lose a lot of positions. I would try to be a little bit cautious because wing damage around here could be costly, and lap one is notorious for a lot of incidents. So I would probably try to stay out of the way. And since this track is not that hard to overtake, we have that long back straight, and we have the DRS zones to actually help you out. I don't think it's a bad idea to stick behind and to just plan out your move and play 3D chess and then eventually make the move.
3D chess, I love that. Absolutely.
4D
As we
chess, may I
see our
say?
drivers getting ready, Acid, please take away the countdown.
Oh, what
5
is
minutes.
that?
As we
As
have the formation lap of, my apologies, first.
right, as we see the car of Washington Nirma is ghost as I believe he might have left the session. And on joining back, he'll only be able to take control after turn one. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. As let's see the tire strategies, because this is going to be an interesting one. We have almost everyone in the top 10 on the softs, barring RB Ferrello, Monk, and Crazy Joe on the mediums. That's interesting. And then outside the top 10, we have everyone on the mediums other than Sid Kulkarni on the softs, which is quite interesting to see as well. We're going to have to see how this plays out. Because,
It's interesting indeed.
like the game suggests, predictive stop strategy, soft, medium, medium. would be ideal, but for the alternate strategy, maybe a medium soft or medium hard, you never know what these people might get up to and how the race plays out with safety cars and VSCs and where you might get lucky. So we're gonna have to see.
Yes.
We're gonna have to see how this plays out, but it is
This definitely shows that RB is going to be playing the long game into the race as he has started on the harder compound. So I think he's going to take it easy into the first lap or two and
definitely.
then
But
slowly make his way up the field,
what
up
what do
past
you
Freeze.
think? If he takes the lead down in turn one on the mediums and manages to keep Freeze behind, that would give him a huge advantage. But I believe it might just be a tad bit easier to stay behind as he is on the medium, stay out that bit longer, try to just get him on pure strategy as well as pace. As we see the grid starting to form up,
I think RB Fiorello has gotten a bit too eager to get past Freeze there.
is it foreshadows intentions down in turn one? We're gonna have to see.
Yes, you never know what psychological battles are at play at the start of the race.
Definitely, and this is one of the tracks where I like racing because you can plan out that move. It isn't one of those tracks where it just happens. You need to plan out your move. You can sit behind a car for lap after lap after lap. You have the DRS zones to help you out to stick behind, and then you can get that tiny bit closer each zone in each lap, and then you can plan out how to. As we see,
As we have the grid formed up, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, as we have a dramatic pause for effect.
that's interesting. Is the AI jump start?
As Freeze gets away very well, but RB on the mediums has pipped Freeze into turn one. Freeze does cut back with the superior grip on the soft tires, and the Ferrari of Monish Banger as well, challenging Freeze into the third turn.
Oh, we see she's
As
cutting the track as Monish
as
Banger gains
he's
a
cutting
position.
grass there. Relatively clean getaway from all the drivers, no incidents as of yet. Cryptid has gone up a place he's pipped the Ferrari of Death Hunter. Monk has also pipped the
Oh,
Williams
what
of
is
Crazy
happening to
Joe.
Crazy Joe? Oh, and we see a little bit of Aji Baji over there as we see Shaken lose a bit of his wing as Crazy Joe finds
Bits
them
of carbon
P11.
fiber flying around.
Oh, this is getting a bit spicy already. We're seeing a lot of exchange of positions as we go down the long straight. You might see
Death
him
Hunter, is he
pull
going
out.
to look for a move into the chicane?
He is deploying all of his ERS and just lap one, he's run out of deployment and maybe at 40%.
Oh, as
Oh,
he's... I don't know how to feel about that.
as Rambo
That
comes
is...
into the pits. Oh, this is
I
interesting.
think
What is
I think
happening?
Rambo did suffer some contact in the first lap incidents there.
Oh, this is all going down
But
right
can
now.
we? What a brilliant start from RB Ferrell on the mediums, nonetheless, on the
And
ones with the inferior grip,
and
has
he's already pulled up
absolutely
a
pulled
gap.
away. Yes, absolutely pulled away.
So
As
1.5
Freeze has
second
been
gaps.
overtaken by Manish Banga as well.
Yeah, I do believe Freeze had to cut. I want to say it's turn three because of maybe some contact, and we see a couple of people getting penalties already. As Freeze gets a 3 second time penalty as soon as I said that. As we
Yes,
see
this
Faizan with the
track
penalty as well as he gains a place on the AI washing powder Nirma, and interesting. And Rambo
as we see
himself
a
has
couple
got a
of cars
penalty.
ghosting there. Rambo, one of the losers of the first lap, and
As we see
Evil
Evil
Dog
Dog and
has also gone
Freeze.
for a move on Freeze. Yes, I think Freeze is dropping down rapidly. Has he? I think he's sustained some wing damage.
We're gonna have to check that out. I'm not too sure, but
If the game lets us give a good angle.
his front wing does look fine. But this race is kind of going downhill for him. He's already dropped to P4. He has a penalty as well,
Do you
and
reckon this is a case of him opting for the wet setup in qualifying? As you saw, he was rapid in the qualifying session,
that
but is
that
suffering in the
is
race right
possible.
now.
That is a plausible theory, but we're gonna have to see how the race plays out. Maybe he's just conserving his tires that bit more to go that bit longer to fight RB. We're gonna have to see how it plays. As you see, Crazy Joe and Deepak Raj, as Deepak Raj goes to the pits, and comes out on a fresh pair of hearts. Maybe he did sustain some damage. The closest battle we have Akash just about 3 times behind WTF Chicken. VK19 on the back of Sid Kulkarni. We have Faizan and Monk separated by just 4 tenths, and down this long straight we see a lot of people gain that gap as we have the DRS activated currently, and we're gonna see a lot more moves come as RB Ferrello sets the fastest lap, followed by
On the
Evil Dog.
medium tires, absolutely
Evil Dog goes 2 seconds faster, so Evil Dog is flying
soon
through
there.
right now. Maybe he'll
Yes,
try to
he
pull
will
up
be
a
looking
move.
for a move on the Ferrari of Manish Banger.
And
soon
what has
enough.
happened to Freeze? He's lost another position to Death Hunter.
Do you think it's a case of nerves, Acid? His first time, I think, starting in the top 3 places.
It's possible. I've definitely done that before, and especially around tracks like these, concentration needs to be kept, and maybe just RB Ferrello caught him out on the start, and then that just put him into a sort of state where now he's just trying to fight the car, and
As we have Nirma leaving the session, succumbing
unfortunate
to
for him is he had
some
drives.
connectivity issues there.
Definitely, as the gaps vanish, which is yet another bug we have to thank the Cody's gods for. As we
As
do have
Monk is going
TRS
to be looking up
activated.
for a move on Faizan soon enough, as he eyes for a move there.
Just decides against it. Maybe on the next lap. As I said, this track is one of those where you can plan out a move. As Evil Dog and Monish Banger are fighting it out. Oh,
Ow. Oh, as Evil Doc has
Evil-
not been a
Right.
good has fallen victim to that essentially.
He
That-
did get squeezed and ended up on the grass with the half spin, but he managed to recover and maybe not lose so
Yes.
much time.
The turn 1 to chicane is notorious for these sort of incidents because of how tight the right hander gets. We've
Definitely,
seen that last season as well, and Tier 1.
it's really unfortunate as he was currently flying through the field. As we see Death Hunters have a slight moment and touch the ball.
He's recovered really well as he's already on the back of Death Hunter again.
Absolutely, and who knows, we might even see a move down the straight. As Freeze as well is just 2 tenths behind. Oh, this is going to be interesting to watch. We'll have to see who comes on top in this 3-place battle for P3.
Can we go on board the broadcast cameras?
Absolutely.
As we have Evil Dog going into the last chicane, as Death
Oh,
Hunter has not left him enough space there. I think he will be complaining on that on the team radio.
oh, definitely. That is really unfortunate. Oh, what has happened there?
Freeze has absolutely barged his way through to P4.
Evil Dog, and I feel so bad for him. He's been tapped a couple times in this past few laps himself, and
Yes, Evil Doc is known to be extremely clean, extremely like he always gives space, and I've battled with him last season. And I think it's just a matter of, some people taking advantage of his extremely clean style of driving.
oh, that's unfortunate. I really feel for him as he does have the pace, and he's just getting bullied around at this point.
As Freeze does seem to have found some confidence in his car yet, as he's closing in on Death Hunter.
Definitely, and let's go down the field. We see Monk and Evil Dog now. Monk is about 4 tenths, and Evil Dog outbreaks himself.
Has
And
missed his braking point, holds it around the outside. These are the two Alfa Romeos. You think team orders will come into play here?
I
As
don't know, as we see both of them has DRS, but Monk just seems to have taken the position away on the medium tires. That is, maybe Evil Dog does have that little bit of damage that is slowing him down, but the race is going downhill from him from what seemed like a short podium position. This is really unfortunate. And we have the 4 hard runners who sustained damage in the first few laps um, at the bottom of the grid, so we're gonna have to see how their strategy plays out as well.
do you think this is a case of pulling each other along the race as we see the pack of Monk and Evil Dog together? Do you think they're slipstreaming each other off? And
Definitely,
never
but
enough.
I feel like if that would be the case, it would probably be better if they swap positions because Evil Doc is on the soft and he should try to pull as much of a gap as he can on those softs before the wear starts. And he does have to pit that much earlier, which is not going to help his case either way.
Can you go on board Evil Dog? I think he might have sustained some damage there because as he doesn't have his stamina.
The end plays look fine. I'm not too sure about it. We're gonna have to see how it is. As we and it is around lap 8 as we have yellow flags.
Oh, as we have the first victim of the Wall of Champions
And
and
the
the
second
victim of the Wall of Champions.
You know how it says when it rains it pours, and that is really unfortunate. And as soon as we were talking about it,
And we have another incident in Sid Kulkarni retiring from the race.
and
What's happened there?
it is at the Wall of Champions. Can you
Wall
believe
of
that? As we
Champions
have the
being
safety car deployed, we have 3 crashes in a row at the Wall of Champions. That
a
is,
hat trick, if you will, a hat trick
oh my
of
god.
incidents at the Wall of Champions. Would you believe that?
Oh, this is quite unfortunate for the drivers who got involved in it, but that was all of a sudden. It was all going fine, but I think by lap 8, the soft runners were a little bit on the back foot with the tire wear and just lost it and hit the ball.
So now that the safety cars come out, do you think we'll have some pit stops?
We're
In
definitely going to see pit stops since it is around the pit window of the softs, but sorry to say it's actually going to negate a lot of the strategy and it might nullify a lot of the other people's strategies because the safety car around the pit window time basically gives you a free pit stop to absolutely everyone. And it's not just the brave who pit and try to get the neo try and make the move, but it kind of nullifies the full strategy. So we're going to see how it plays out. As we see Monish Banger and Death Hunter both dive into the pits. Both the Ferrari boys are going to be double stacking.
This is going to be a double stack. This is
this is going to be really bad for Death Hunter as he serves a 5-second penalty. And this is the worst position you can be
unfortunate. Yes.
As you see most of the field dive into the pits.
The sky is looking quite grim, isn't it? It's quite overcast.
Definitely is,
and that might accentuate what the hard tires are known for, where they just don't get up to temperature, so the hard runners will be absolutely.
But I do believe the hard runners have pitted for the mediums. Which is interesting. Deepak Raj has gained a position by staying out on the hards. We're going to have to see if that pays off. But I think we have almost all the feet bar the, let's say, top 5 as of this moment. We have almost everyone on the mediums, and watching about Nirma's AI currently on the softs, and we have Deepak Raj on the hards, and everyone else is on the mediums. So this race, who knows, might just be won on pure pace now, and our strategies are all going to be negated.
What would you do as a driver here? Would you wait your tires out because if you pit for the mediums, you'll struggle with getting them up to temperature. If you pit for the hards, you're going to suffer even more for that. And track position, although not as integral on a track like this, but if you lack that confidence of racecraft, and you don't think you can make your moves and get past, like what would you do? Would you take the fresh grip or would you take the track position?
It's really interesting. In this case, I would say since everyone is pitted, I would probably try the alternate strategy and stay out. But if you're RB Ferrello in P1, I would have played it a bit safe and gone for the pit stop. But we're gonna have to see how this pays off for him, and maybe it might just be a master stroke. But this can go either way. But we do see the mediums have a life of about close to 15 laps around here, which is a good number, and I think if he does go on the softs in the end, he's going to be absolutely fine because the alternate can be really quick here, especially in about 25% the medium soft is brilliant because in the end, as the cars get lighter and you have the soft tires really come alive and your car starts flying around here.
Absolutely, and with these overcast conditions, you have that extra chance of taking those tires to the end because they will not be overheating at all.
Definitely, and just see them come around the chicane. It's a beautiful camera angle we have over here. As we have currently 16 people still in the race with one retirement of Sid Kulkarni. And what do you think? It's a bit lucky for the guys who did get damaged at the Wall of Champions, the two people who did crash before, since they got a free pit stop, they got a free wing change.
I'd say it's somewhere in between because they did crash at the Wall of Champions and you cannot reverse from there. And they had to do a really slow lap, though that was under safety car. But what's interesting is that would they rather take track position over fresh grip over here? Because
Right. I believe overtaking here is not an issue, and it is quite. It is assisted by, I want to say, 3 DRS zones. So I feel track position may not be as big as a factor as it may be in other tracks. So I would definitely go for the newer grip, as it does make a lot of difference. As we
I
see,
beg to differ because we see in Sector 2 that chicane leading up to the turn 10 hairpin.
yep,
If you follow a car behind that chicane, you're going to be a victim of absolute an absolute wash of dirty air. You will not be able to stick unless you have a pace advantage of at least a second or a grip advantage.
that's true.
So
But I believe
it's
this is one of those tracks where you have to play the long game. So it's not about maybe losing 2 tenths in a corner or gaining some. It's basically at the end of the lap, if you're gaining even a tenth on the other car with the help of DRS, that's a win. So you edge that little bit closer, and when you do that, by the time you've got close, you can just easily pull off a move. It's just more about the long game. It's just what I did yesterday, at least, and what I believe should be done around here is just stick behind the car ahead, recharge your overtake, recharge, maybe save up some fuel behind another car. You can do that with the DRS, and then when you decide to attack, you can just go all out and down this main straight, and you can just absolutely send it. As we see, the safety car is coming in. We're gonna have to see how this restart goes, as Faizan looks really feisty right behind RB Ferrello, getting a bit jumpy on the
yes,
throttle.
he will be looking to make his way past him as soon as possible.
As RB Ferrello rounds the final corner, and he
It's
still hasn't started. He's
he.
playing the Bottas game.
I think it's another lap of safety car. I think it's another lap.
No, we're
No,
off to
I'm
racing.
sorry.
Ferrello gets a good restart and manages to drop his on behind him. Let's see what is happening down the order. It seems to be fairly clean, and no one seems to have pulled off a move. Oh, as you see, it's a certain. Oh, what is happening over here? We have
Ferrari
yellow
of
flags.
Monish Bangor has made his way past Nirma, who still hasn't pitted on the soft tires. That is a
I
very
do believe Nirma is on the AI.
that is rather unfortunate.
Oh, as you see a whole train of cars here, and this is going to be interesting.
Yes, as that is confirmed, the Nirma is still under. Still, his AI is riding around the track. As
Death
Death
Hunter
Hunter
just
has
sends
sent
it.
it on Manish Bangor, who gets the switch back brilliantly.
Oh, this is absolutely terrible to hear.
Both the
With,
Ferraris absolutely going hammer and tong into the back straight.
as Monish Bangor loses that position to his teammate, as we see them both come around. But as I said, this is a track where you can easily stick behind, try to gain that advantage over time, and then make the move when you feel comfortable.
I tell you what, Death Hunter is in a really good position here. If he can display that racecraft
You see,
consecutively over the laps, as we see Red Bull off to the runoff. Yes, but back to what I was saying, if we see the same consecutive, like the display of racecraft he's shown in this first lap of the safety car restart, he can very well make his way up to the podium places.
definitely. As we see, the gaps in between the top 3 to the top 10, I would say, they're just each one of them is separated by almost maybe just
As we have
3 tenths. As we
Akash defending extremely aggressively against Death Hunter.
Yes, his Death Hunter does have this gearbox glitch where it's.
Can we have a look at the penalties really quick? Because majority of the field does seem to have at least 3 seconds.
And
Yes.
there is the penalty map as Akash gets another 3 seconds as you speak of it. And the grid is quite close right now. We see the safety car really bunched them up, and now I feel
As
uh,
Chicken has made his way another position of Cryptid.
as definitely Scripted loses another. Oh,
Oh,
that is
that's
unfortunate. Scripted and Crazy Joe get into a little bit of a tangle as Crazy Joe loses his position and maybe even gets some damage. It's really unfortunate. As you see, almost everyone has a penalty on the field except Monish Manger and RB Ferrello, who's doing a great job of staying in first. It seems like he is nursing these medium tires, and he's already put a gap of 2.2 seconds to Faizan. So
which is even more impressive that he's remained without any penalties because the pace he demonstrated on those mediums was absolutely phenomenal.
definitely, as we have a yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3, I wonder what's happening
As
over there. It's
Freeze has
Freeze.
left the session.
Oh, this is really unfortunate,
That
and
is
he did drop down to P14
as
right before
Harry
this.
Rocks sees that ghost car Freeze and sends it. Though I would have
Definitely.
waited for DRS if I were Harry.
Alright. As you see Crazy Joe go on Cryptid as Cryptid dives into the pits and Rambo gets a 3-second penalty. Wonder what's happened to Cryptid as Freeze also pits.
As Monish Banger is extremely close to his teammate, and so is Death Hunter to Akash, the
Right.
sister Ferrari team.
Do you think we're seeing a little bit of a train form?
Absolutely, because as I said, overtaking is notoriously difficult over here as
Wow.
the complete opposite of that happens as Death Hunter absolutely barges his way through the field.
That is really unfortunate for Evil Dog. He's just getting bullied around this whole race. Um, oh, and
Oh, as we see Death Hunter suffering a spinala there.
oh, that's extremely unfortunate for him as well. Right?
He
As soon
was
as he got the position.
absolutely rapid on those fresh set of mediums, and now it's all gone to waste.
And do you think we're gonna see Evil Dog get the position back from Monish Wenger? I do believe he will. He is deploying his ERS and he does go out to the inside. Oh, he sticks behind. Monish Wenger likes to stick behind and Evil Dog gets the position. He does have DRS and somehow drops Monish Wenger. And this looks like a battle that's going to be going on race long.
Monk has been able to stick with Faizan within the DRS for the past since the safety car restart actually.
Definitely. And it has been about 15 laps since the mediums have been on since the start of
I
the
tell you
race.
what, the Alfa Romeos are going to get a huge uphaul on points over the Red Bulls in this race.
Oh,
if it
definitely.
stays
That's going to be really critical. As you see, Rambo is down at P14 as he does pit again. I wonder what's happening with him. He was
Can you
on.
go to the pit stops really quick? Because I think that is Rambo's third pit stop we've seen.
Definitely, we can
As
see
we
that.
have, yes, right there. That is confirming his third pit
Oh,
stop.
we have Crazy Joe on, with 3 stops and still up in P8.
I
Oh,
have no clue how
wow.
he's managed to do that.
That is interesting. As you see, Evil Doc, Monk, and Monish Mango, what is happening down here? As the Alfa Romeo teammates battle it out. As Evil Doc gets the position on Monk, and as
And
it
I
was
think
the starting of the race,
he's gonna be pulling Monk along the race now
as he puts in the
with that
fastest lap
DRS.
with a 1:12.251.
He's
And
absolutely flying, I tell you.
this battle seems like a race-long battle for P3 with Evil Dog Monk and Monish Manga, and Monk hasn't stopped yet, and he is currently on. I believe he is currently on the 15 lap old mediums. Let's
So
just
I
take a
think
look.
the strategy over here is for Evil Dog to overtake Faizan and while doing so hold him up of sorts so that Monk can get past Faizan as well,
Definitely,
which is going to give them a huge haul of points in this
definitely,
race. Over
Scripted
the
goes fastest on track with a 1:11.7 on the soft tires. So what's interesting is Scripted is on the soft tires, and so is the AI of Nidma. So I wonder what Cryptid is up to at this point. If you do put on the softs, you'll have to end up on the mediums again, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because wait, what tire has he started on in the race?
I do believe he was one of the medium runners to start off with. As Everdog gets
Yes.
past Faizan fairly easily, comes up to P2, and this is really going to help the Alfa Romeo boys. If you can just hold Faizan back a little bit,
Evil
and
Dog has double the tire life as RB Ferrello.
Oh, this is also gonna be really interesting. I feel RB Frello should be diving into the pits anytime now if he doesn't want to avoid getting overtaken. If he does want to avoid getting overtaken. As you see, Chicken is improved up to P6 and on the
Yes, he
9 lap
has
world
made his way
beating.
up to the front of the pack, starting from the lower part of the field. As we have the Merc of Cryptid, I'm guessing, absolutely rapid on this fresh set of
What has
softs.
happened to Death Hunter? He's dropped back. Rambo has overtaken him, and it's unfortunate for Death Hunter as he was up there right in the starting stages.
Absolutely, he was one of the key competitors in today's race,
As we see,
challenging for a win.
we go on board Deepak Raj on the hard tires, chasing down Crazy Joe on the mediums. He's just a ways back, and we're gonna have to see if he can get that traction to maybe pull out an overtake right now. It does seem like he may just be sticking back a little bit. He's not deploying his ERS. He is a bit low. Maybe he's just electing to stay behind a bit, recharge his batteries, and then go for another go. As Crazy Joe gets a 3-second time penalty, that is not going to help his case in the long run. As you see, Harry's just behind the back of Deepak Raj as well for the final few places on the top 10, and
The
this
battle
was
for
also quite
P8
interesting.
is getting really spicy as, yes, Harry has made his way back to the points. As Nirma, I think, has regained control, or is that his AI pitting?
I do believe it's the yes. Harry gets another 3-second time penalty, and so not good. And I do believe
As
Harry on the
Evil
mediums.
Doc has absolutely made
Oh,
made his way back to the
this is the
back
battle
of
to
to the
watch
rear
right now.
diffuser of Bobby Finello.
Oh, this is really bad news for RB Ferrello, as Evil Dog
As you can see,
hits that apex perfectly.
the difference between the superior grip on those fresh mediums.
But
They
just
do
take a
such a
look at the
tight line.
ERS. Evil Dog is absolutely out as he does make a move down the main straight, but he is out of the ERS.
I think that's a sensible decision. He wants to get past and pull out a gap because RB will have to make another pit stop and he has a chance of undercutting him.
Definitely, and what seemed like a race that was getting out of hand for Evil Dog, he has recovered absolutely beautifully. As we have yellow flags, Deepak Raj is retired from the race. What has happened there? Oh, we're gonna have to see what happened. I think it is
It's
the
near
Wall of
the Wall of
Champions.
Champions. Is it another one?
Oh, it might just be as we see the
That
car of
is
Deepak Raj.
very reminiscent of the Magnussen crash we had in qualifying
Oh, that is
in
so
Canada in
unfortunate for Deepak.
2019.
He was right there up in the top 10. He was gaining position. He might have just lost it on traction out of the World Champions and just hit the wall. And surprisingly, we don't have a VSC or a safety car, which is might turn out good for the drivers. We have a migrating host, which is not good news.
Let's not jinx it now.
Uh,
As Monish Banger, I think he had a penalty, but that was a 5 second. Who has
and
gotten
he
rid
has
of it
started
now?
in the pits, but that did really ruin the race of his teammate Death Hunter. As Death Hunter dives into the pits, Jeez, I wonder what happened to Deepak Raj since it was a long ways off from Bolo Champions. Maybe just on the exit, or maybe he suffered damage,
Maybe
or he got
it's the
tapped.
case of those old hearts getting finally, giving away, and he was
Right.
asking too much out of them, of the rear tires.
Yeah, but he was fairly close to Harry and Crazy Joe as well. So I wonder if maybe something happened since Harry Harry is now currently 5 tenths off Crazy Joe, and both of them are on the medium tires. Let's check the tire life and see what. So both of them are on the similar age tires, 13 laps old, and Harry does get the DRS and has 50% ERS and is absolutely deploying it to trying to get as close as possible.
RB Ferrello has pulled an absolutely, either it could be an absolutely masterclass of a strategy,
What do you
because
think?
he has put those medium tires for 20 laps, and obviously the only remaining outcome is that he's going to pit for fresh softs towards the end
Oh, if
and
that works out.
absolutely fly.
Oh no, what has happened over here? We see two cars. It is Harry Rocks. Harry has. Oh no, this is really unfortunate for him. We
as Harry's lost it out of turn 10, I believe, along with washing powder Nirma.
Oh,
But he's
Harry's
still in the
tires are
clear.
absolutely lit up right now as this race goes down the drain for him. He was comfortably in the top 10 and fighting Crazy Joe, and he might just have made a little bit of mistake and spun into the chicane, which has hampered his race and has.
WTF Chicken has made his inroads towards the top podium places as he's making his way to Faizan.
And as we were talking about RB Ferreira's strategy, we see Faizan himself on 21 lap old mediums and holding up his pace. So could it be the both of
Absolutely.
them are going to pull off the masterclass of the decade and pull out a really good alternate strategy over here? We never know. We're going to have to see what happens.
Only time will tell. As we see Chicken extremely close to Faizan as he has a lot of ERS, which he's going to deploy all along the straight as he makes for an easy pass down to the chicane.
Comfortably gets the move done. As you see, RB Ferrero dives into the pits on a 21 lap old tires. And we're going to have to see what he comes out
And
on.
softs have come on for
Oh,
Abu.
that is going to be brilliant. We see Monk driving into the pits as well. And he too was on 21 lap old medium. So this is some strategy that us tier 1 boys were not aware of. This is
Yes, it
interesting.
seems Monk has mimicked the strategy choices of Abi Ferrello and
Absolutely. And he
Faizan.
comes out in P7. And we're going to have to see when Evil Dog comes out when he does pit. And if I was Evil Dog, I would be worried right now. I would definitely be worried.
Yes, because Abi Ferrello does have the luxury on Evil Dog of not having a single time penalty as well.
Definitely.
Unless the time penalty was because of was caused by a side-by-side incident, but that has yet to see that. As Abi Ferrello is already on the diffuser of Crazy Joe,
And
who
he'll
is
want to
on
get the move
15
done.
lap.
He'll want to get the move done as soon as possible and get those track
Absolutely.
positions. And you're able to see the amount of grip that the softs provide is absolutely unreal. And especially towards the later half of the races,
And Crazy Joe has just let him go there. I think that's a really wise decision, not wanting to
def-
hold him up.
definitely.
A great amount of respect for the Red Bull driver there.
Right, as I said, you got to play the long game over here. So it makes more
Absolutely.
sense to someone on a different strategy or someone absolutely faster than you on newer tires
As the
fast.
other contender for the Master Stroke strategy has also made his way into the pits
And
in
he
Faizan.
does come out, I want to say, in P9 on the soft tires. And this is going to be interesting to watch because we have Cryptid on the softs, Faison on the soft, and Monk on the softs. So it's going to be a three-way battle between all of them. But I believe Cryptid might have to do another stop.
Absolutely, Cryptid will not be making low stars last till the end.
RB Ferrero is now in P5 and quickly catching up to the back of Akash, who is now on 23 lap old tires, and that
Can
is
we go
not
to
going to help his
can we
case.
go to gap to leader?
Definitely, we can check that out. There's RB
17
Ferrero's.
seconds. The pit stop over here is around 17-18 seconds. It's a relatively short pit stop because the exit absolutely like eradicates the first two corners. So you never know. Evil Dog might get the
As Monish
overcut done.
Banger dives into the pits and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Death Hunter gets
Extremely easy to
3-second
do
penalty.
here.
As we
The pit lane is
see
just
Akash diving into the pits, and so does Monish Banger. He gets a wing change and comes out. I believe RB Fellow now inherits P3 with only WTF Chicken and Evil Dog, and Chicken is currently sitting in P2, which is absolutely amazing. Now RB Fellow is lighting up the timing charts with
he's
the
he's got
fastest
he's
laps.
got up by 1.7 seconds in just the last lap alone.
The undercut here, oh, it's really strong, and especially those soft tires, they're absolutely amazing to drive on here. But he might have to nurture them a bit. He might have to go a little bit
You
easy.
will be seeing some massaging of the tires towards the end,
Yeah,
but it really doesn't matter as long as he gets to move as he gets the undercut done because I'm pretty sure he will have the raw pace to like keep ahead of Evil Dog.
definitely. He's had pace all weekend long, and he had extremely good qualifying. He seems to have had strategy masterclass today, and we're gonna have to see how it plays out once Evil Dog and Chicken do pit. But Chicken is having an absolutely amazing race. I mean, he started from the back of the grid and kept it fairly clean, fairly consistent. He got buzzed around a bit, but he has recovered from that, and he is currently running in P2.
Absolutely, Chicken has been one of those who has always redeemed himself in the race,
As you,
making his way up places.
you see Crazy Joe overtake the AI of Freeze. The closest battle currently on track is probably that of an AI, as you see Monk is just 1.1 seconds behind Faizan, and right now I feel because there's a mix of strategies, some are on the medium, some are on the softs. It's going to be interesting to watch, but it's going to be. I think now the top positions are going to be based on purely pace, as the strategies seem to have played out by now. We're just gonna have to check out Evil Dog and WTF Chicken, as both of them are on 17 lap old mediums. As
Absolutely, as
Harry Rocks gets another
Nirma,
3
I don't
second
know
lap
if he's still on
penalty.
his AI, but he's still in the points, amazingly.
That is extremely interesting because I don't know if it is just a lobby glitch or if he's on the AI, but that car is doing quite well. So don't know
Yes,
what's
his
happening over
AI
here.
has been pretty impressive, to say the least.
Definitely, and the field is a bit spread out.
As Cryptid also on the fresh softs now will be making his way up the field as I say that he is absolutely set a blinder of a fastest lap.
Yes, and he's managed to bring the gap down to VK90 to just about 4 tenths of a second, and he's gaining almost a tenth or two every corner. So he'll be.
Who's on 17 over lap hards? Those hards will be
Oh,
absolutely
the
crying
pace
right
difference
now.
is going to be insane, as we can see that he's just carrying so much more speed, and VK90 seems to be struggling. Oh, this is going
As
to be an
Avi
easy
Ferrello
pass.
has made his way past.
Oh, what has happened here? Chicken has spun into the chicane on those 18 lap old mediums. That is really unfortunate for him. And Forello has made. Wait,
Ferrello has taken advantage of that driver
yes, as
error and he made a play.
Chicken, who was running in P2, has spun out, and to make matters worse, he gets a 5 second penalty as Albi Forello inherits P2, which is
Just adding salt to the wounds there for
net
Chicken.
P1. And if I was Evil Dog, I would straight away head to the pits because there's just a 10 second gap between Evil Dog and Albi Forello. And that
As
is.
Faizan has found himself in the podium places.
Oh, this is going to be amazing, and I do believe if he gains just maybe a second or two more, he might just find himself in P2. Evil Dog is currently bleeding time, and RB Fellow is catching him up fairly quickly, and he's definitely played the long game, and it has paid off for him, as he is set to take the net lead. I mean, he is in the net lead, he's set to take the lead on track once Evil Dog does pit, but Evil Dog seems to be staying out. Maybe he's trying out the 21 lap medium strategy and going on to the softs, because I don't believe he'll be able to run those tires till the end. I don't think it's possible.
Yes, you never know what mind games are at play at these stages, as Evil Dog has caressed those tires up till lap 20 for 20 laps there. And
Definitely.
the grip of his soft tires will be on a on an extremely large like level compared to RB Ferrello's soft tires, who will be quite worn out by that time.
Definitely. And
Can you go on board the penalties once, as Evil Dog might have a
definitely.
6 second to make matters worse? No, he has a three
Evil
second.
Dog has a 3 seconds, and RB Flood has no penalties, with Faizan with 6 seconds, and Monk just 1.4 seconds behind Faizan. So this is really interesting because Faizan might just lose out on the podium because of his penalties. As we see yellow flags in sector 3, and it is a Ferrari and might be a Death Hunter if I'm not wrong. Maybe it was. Might have had just that little moment over in the hairpin where traction is absolutely critical.
Yes, absolutely traction. Extremely hard to get down through that corner.
Right. And I just want to say, Evil Dog has been having an absolutely great race. We saw him get barged by a few people. He got a little squirmy because of contact, and it was not looking like it was going to be a great race for him. And what has happened? We see the
He's
horse of Harry Rocks have another moment as he gets overtaken by Crazy Joe and the air freeze. As
absolutely
Harry Rocks'
a
race has
bad day
gone
of at the office for Harry Rocks there,
it's
as he
gone from
suffered two incidents now.
definitely it's gone from bad to worse, and wonder what's happening. Maybe it's the damage, and it is the damage, but that's not fortunate for him. And as I was saying, Evil Dog didn't have the best starts to the race. He dropped down a couple positions. I believe he even dropped down to P6. Had
As
damage,
Evil
got a
Dog
wing
is still
replacement.
not pitted yet. I think he's gonna carry those medium tires till the end.
Oh, this is really interesting. And at these points, I wish we had the EWS tire graphics, because that would be really,
Those
really
aren't really
interesting.
reliable now, though,
Uh,
are they?
I mean, something better than
You
nothing.
you'd see
Gives us
you'd
something to
see
talk about.
Hamilton have 10% tire life, and you'd see him setting fastest lap after fastest lap.
That's also true,
Uh,
but we're gonna have to see. And you know what? It might just be possible to get that information uh, through a little telemetry data, but we can see that for next time. As we see, RB Ferrello has closed down the gap to 6 seconds, and if Evil Dog is currently going for going till
can
the
you go
end,
on what Evil Dog wants if he's got his telemetry on, as he doesn't? His
uh,
medium tires will be absolutely crying right now, but so will RB's softs as well, as
definitely,
they near the end of their life.
definitely. As the field is fairly spread out, and
4 laps to go, but then again, RB just has to close in within 3 seconds, and he's got it. He's got the win in the bag.
definitely, and I do believe maybe RB Ferrello's tires will be screaming in a few laps, but it can't be worse than Evil Dogs, since Evil Dogs
Absolutely,
spent
those
20
soft tires will
laps.
not be nearly as worse as Evil Dog's mediums because lower fuel, and I think RB generally has a really smooth driving style, from what I've seen. So I think that has a part to play as well.
Definitely. And Evil Dog just has a little bit of a moment there, as his tires, in his rear tires must be absolutely destroyed, and as RB Ferrello gains and he's gaining, he's just about 3.8 seconds, and I believe that it might just be it for Evil Dog. But I just want to say, Evil Dog has pulled off an amazing recovery. As you see, yellow
Absolutely,
flags in
those
sector 1, and it is a Haas car. Is it Akash? No, it might just be of Harry Rocks having a little moment down in the wall of
suffered
champions, but he
another incident,
seems to be doing
and
alright.
day,
Kicked it out of the
a
wall.
day to forget for Harry.
Definitely, and day to forget for Chicken as well. He was doing so well, had that little moment, and he's lost out and still in the points, though he could have had a much better race. And there's more yellow flags, and what is happening? I seem to be getting ghost yellow flags and nothing happening as we were on board with the cars that were there in the yellow flag zone. As RB Ferrello is absolutely flying, as the mediums have dropped off the cliff for Evil Dog, as he's seen closing the gap to just 2.2 seconds.
And now it's just a matter of, raw pace, whereas you're driving extremely cautiously, as we have
Oh,
Evil Dog, who has
oh
spun out
no,
on the curbs of turn 6 and 7.
oh no. He seems to have a buffer of 4 seconds of Faizan, but oh, that was 7 seconds of Faizan. Oh, but that was really unfortunate. But he's managed to recover, and we're gonna have to see if he does have any damage, because that could potentially ruin the end of his race. But he seems to be doing all right.
Seems relatively intact, his car.
Oh, that must have been a Code Brown moment for him. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
last few laps and
As
24 lap old tires.
tell you what, as Munish Banger, as Monk, I think he's dropped out of 3 seconds of Faizan,
Oh, and Moni's
and
banger has
also
come.
suffered a position loss to Munish Banger as
Does he
well.
have damage? Maybe he had a little moment down there. We don't know yet.
Yes, he
But
does have a lime yellow left, and there's some damage to his left end plate.
oh, that is unfortunate. As Moni's banger is now in P8, and we're gonna have to check the penalties to see where this is gonna go, because This is really interesting now.
Oh, Monish Bang has 14 seconds of penalties.
Oh, and that just about seals it up for, I want to say,
Unless he will be getting those removed post race.
right, and that
Though
just about
that's
seals
yet
it
we
up
yet to
for
see.
Faizan. And I want to say Faizan has had a fairly good race, and
Yes, Faizan has
he's
been absolutely on it this entire race. He's been pretty consistent, pretty relatively clean as well.
definitely, we haven't seen much of him on track. And that's a good thing because he's been putting in consistent lap times. He stayed out of incidents. He did have that little moment in qualifying, but he's come back stronger, and he may just find himself in the podium positions today, which is absolutely amazing. And it's good to see one of the veterans like Razan up there in the podium
It's
places.
probable that those are just the glances of the wheel inputs being more favorable than the controller inputs, as he's
Definitely.
been able to be more smooth with the steering, more like less erratic
As
than
we
what he
head to
was
the
on the pad.
final lap with our race leader, RB Ferrello, who has pulled off a strategy masterclass today. He started in P2, took the lead in P1, took the lead in lap 1 by turn 1, and has been on it ever since. He started on the alternate strategy, and it really paid off.
He hasn't put a foot wrong this entire race. A flawless race weekend for him.
Definitely. As we see further yellow flags, and
As Munish Banger and Chicken has suffered a spin at near the Wall of Champions as
I
he tries
believe,
to make his way to the
I
pits.
believe he is done. He's
I'd say
absolutely done
that's
for today.
an attempt of him getting disqualified as he's had enough.
That's unfortunate for him. He was having such a great race, but just a couple of string of bad incidents, and he's out. And
As Faizan has closed up on Evil Dog heaps.
he's went into the pits, which is interesting. As Monish Banger is now. Wait, what
Yes,
has
what
happened
happened?
over here?
What has happened over here?
Oh, we have missed this. As we come around the final corner, RB Fellow takes the win with Evil Dog and Monish Banger just battling it out. Oh, this is going
Over
to
the
be a photo
line.
finish. Oh, Faizan still finishes on the podium with the penalties, but it all got really spicy towards the end.
Faizan absolutely sent it, I think, in that last chicane to make up for the places he lost, to mitigate the damage which was done in the last
Oh,
lap.
definitely, and he was completely out of ERS. So we see more yellow flags,
Scripted
and
has finished within 2 tenths of Akash, and Munish Bangar has dropped down to P7
oh, those
with the
14 seconds of
14
time penalties
seconds
really hurt him over
coming
there.
back to bite him.
Definitely, it could have been a podium position, but he's dropped all the way down to P7, which actually shows how close of a grid it was. We had the cars really close to each other, and penalties are really costly in cases like that.
As Washing Powder Nirma's AI has gotten a point, ladies and gentlemen. Or 2 points
that's
rather.
that's brilliant, but it's interesting because I did not expect an AI. Maybe his car is just ghosted and it is him driving. We don't know. We'll have to see post the race. As we have our podium sitters who are here, who is RB Ferrello, Faizan, and we have Evil Dog. We're gonna shortly go to the podium interviews right after we run down the grid final finishing order. As we have P1 with RB Ferrello, the absolutely great winner of the Canadian Grand Prix. He pulled off the strategy masterclass. He had the pace. He had really good qualifying, and he finished off the race. It was almost a perfect weekend for him. As we have Evil Dog in P2, great race for him, and he had a couple of incidents here and there, but recovered beautifully. Faizan kept it clean, kept it consistent. We love to see it. We have P4 Monk, we have P5 Akash, P6 Cryptid, followed by Monish Banger, BK19, Washing Powder Nirma, and Rambo that rounds off the top 10. We have Crazy Joe in P11 as he dropped a place and not getting a point. We have Freeze in P12, Death Hunter P13, WTF Chicken in P14, unfortunately, and Harry Rocks in P15, followed by DNFs of Deepak Raj and Sid Kulkarni.
An
Oh, what a race
absolutely
this was.
exhilarating race that was.
Oh, and the final few laps, so I don't even know what was happening over there. That was really interesting. As we should be heading over to the podium interviews and hearing from our podium sitters about the race.
RB and
No, like actually I was planning for a two stop before this race, but the safety car came in. Then I thought like yeah, maybe if I can extend the stint and then I can do a one stop. And then I saw that even RB was doing the same. So I was planning to stop a lap later than RB because my mediums were really good. So even when I pit, right, I had absolutely no issues with them. It was just a bit, like I think it was a bit slower, but I thought the soft they're getting more faster than the mediums, especially for me on my setup. So I thought like it is better for me to have lesser laps on softs, and that's why like I picked a lap later than RB and Monk. I think.
Right, and what we saw was a masterclass. So you and RB Ferraro both of you opted to stay out on the mediums for 21 laps, and then go on to the softs and finish the race. And that was very very interesting to see. And I believe it was the strategy that actually paid off today.
Yep, I think this was the first strategy, starting on the mediums and then softs.
That's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, we love to see you on the podium and good race, and that was really
congratulations
fun.
on that one.
Congratulations.
Thanks, happy to be back on the podium.
As we are joined by a race winner, RB Ferrello. Hi, RB, how are you doing?
Ah, I'm sweating a lot now. The second stint to catch Evil Dog was quite tough. I was doing quali laps every time. But eventually he spun at that Vettel corner. So,
All right, and just talk us through your race down from how close it was in qualifying to overall how you were dealing with the tires and the strategy.
qualifying was good. P2 was the max I could have done. But at the race start, I think I was the only one to start on mediums in top 8, I guess. So I thought that, okay, I've ruined my strategy and everything. But then I got the race lead, and then I let everyone battle behind. So I pulled away from the pack.
Right. Going back to the
Absolutely.
start, you were on the medium on the alternate strategy, and you managed to take the lead in turn one, and I believe that really really helped, and especially the pace on those old medium tires. You managed to do really really well on them, extend them for 21 laps, which is absolutely insane, and you won on the strategy, and which is really really brilliant, and congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motor, go ahead.
Absolutely. RB, congratulations on the race win, like a flawless drive from you from start to finish. My
Thank,
question is, do you think the qualifying, the wet qualifying had a part to play on your strategy because you were going to start on a fresh set of tires, and because of that, the mediums, do you think that you were going to be able to drag those out till the end?
Actually, on my final quali lap, I was 8 tenths up on my uh, like the fastest lap, but then I ruined it at the hairpin. So I thought that if I start on pole, then I would have started with softs and then soft, medium, medium, like two stops. But then I thought that everyone would have started with mediums at the race start. तो फिर उसके बाद I've just went for the race lead and then managed my tires and fuel and ERS everything, and was like pushing away from the pack as well. So
Speaking of your
the
restart,
safety car
you had a
actually played a important role.
you had a brilliant start on those medium tires, the ones with inferior grip than the rest of the field, like everyone who was behind you. Talk us through your start. Like, how did you manage to get the upper hand on everyone?
Uh, I went I went with full rich and ERS on, so I just had to send it like max stayed on Lewis at spin, something like that, you can say.
Definitely. Actually,
And
we had a fairly clean race, and not many incidents, and it was good. We did have a safety car, but that was because we saw the world champion claim a few victims, and as you said, that did help your strategy as well, and the strategy of Faizan as well, and it really really paid off. So congratulations on the win here.
thank you, thank you.
As we're joined by Evil Dog here. Welcome, Evil Dog.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So talk us through your race, talk us through your qualifying. How was it? How did it all go?
Yeah, qualifying lessons learned from Spa. We did only a couple of laps at the end when it was only a light train. So yeah, that gave us P3 and P8. So that was actually good compared to timings. And maybe the first 6 laps were kind of a maybe, yeah. We need to see the replays again. You might have
Definitely.
seen in the stream as well, yeah.
Yeah, we did see you were a bit unfortunate with a little bit of incidents and a little bit of bumping from here and there. Some people,
Yeah, it was action-packed first 6 years.
definitely. And I believe you dropped down to P6 at a certain point, and then you managed to recover beautifully. You did get a bit of damage as well, I believe, and but eventually,
Yeah, like I had to change the wing during the pit stop. So yeah, but anyway, after rejoining, this was the only strategy to go for. It's either win or lose. Win in the sense, hoping for RB to not catch up or at least block.
definitely.
But towards the end, yeah, the tires were around 80, 85. So yeah,
So yeah,
eventually I
it was
spun.
it was
I
really
actually
interesting.
calculated that stuff.
It was
So when Evil Dog pitted, it was around lap 14 or 15, I guess. So I
Yep.
knew that no, lap 10. So I knew that he won't go that long.
so what's
Yeah,
interesting
but
is when Evil
kind
Dog.
of, yeah. It
Sorry.
was a like if I didn't spin, again I spun, but I could have maybe gain at least reduce the gap by around 6 seconds or maybe 5 seconds.
And Evil Dog,
Yes.
we
But
were we were actually waiting for you to pit. We were wondering when you would when after RB fell a pit. I myself thought that okay, Evil Dog is going to go into the pits again, maybe put on the side of the softs and catch him back. But you actually stayed out for I believe about 25 laps on those mediums and absolutely extended it. And that was also great, and it gave you the podium eventually. And that was a great call from you as well. And I just it would have been really hard to drive on those tires. We did see a few moments towards the end, but you ended up finishing it off strongly. So that's all that matters.
yes, it was very difficult.
Definitely, we could see you squirming around a little bit, not getting that much traction. As RB fellow was also chasing you down. He was, I think, closing the gap by close to a second lap at a point.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Like towards the end, it was maybe a second to that one. So maybe
right, and
don't know.
this spices up the constructor battle between Alfa Romeo and Red Bull as well. As we were seeing Alfa Romeo were having a great day, and
Yes.
then unfortunately, I think a few incidents happened, but you managed to recover really really well, and this will spice up the championship.
Yep, yeah, definitely yes.
Moto, any questions for Evil
Absolutely.
Dog?
Evil Dog, congratulations on the podium. We saw
Yeah.
you suffering, being victimized through several incidents, like you were being pushed around almost. But then, like
Yeah.
you brought yourself back up to the podium places. Throughout the race, we saw you and Monk move together as a pack of sorts. Do you think team orders were play at any stage? Like,
Not actually team orders, but again strategy calls to make each other's race more convenient. And yeah, and the end result was good. So P2 and P4 anytime. Okay.
yes, that's congratulations on the
So
podium.
congratulations
Well
to all
done.
the podium sitters. It was a great race. We saw a lot of
Fantastic race, really exhilarating.
definitely saw some really good overtakes and a lot of good strategy calls. So congratulations to everyone, and that's going to be all from us here at IRC. And thank you for joining us for our Canadian Grand Prix, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See ya.